Street apologists. 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 On the radio. Street apologists. Street apologists.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Street Apologists Live, Saturday, November 25th, 7:10 here, Mountain Time. We're going to be discussing, have they found stones with Hebrew on them in Puerto Rico? Let's find out.
How you doing, everybody? Michael Williams with Linehouse Publishing, Judah Nation Radio. I'll tell you about a book that we just helped print and publish. Barack Obama versus the Black Hebrew Israelites. It's written by one of my friends, Vocab Malone. Vocab has done a great job of going through and presenting almost like an introductory manual to the Black Hebrew Israelite religion, and also giving you some talking points from Scripture. This is a great book for you guys to read. If you guys are not familiar with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, it's a movement that is sweeping its way through a lot of urban churches, as well as a lot of urban ministries. We are called to, at all costs, preach the word, defend the gospel by counteracting. Get the book if you're into apologetics. Get the book if you're into defending the gospel, and also if you're involved in any type of urban ministry where you see this going around. Get informed about it so that you can really counteract it by having a little bit of knowledge before it, because you can't argue against something that you don't know about. Now, so you definitely want to get this. It's about 140 pages. I admonish you guys to get this book. You can order it at the website listed below. You can also look up Vocab on all of the social media networks. Purchase the book. It's a great price.
Man, I hate these devils. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing tonight? Street Apologists Live. It's Saturday night. Can you believe it? Thanksgiving weekend, I guess, almost over. At least it's not as late as we are sometimes here, but this is the Urban Apologetics program where we serve the underserved and look into the overlooked, and we're definitely doing that tonight. I'm going to play a video right in the beginning so you can understand the intersection of Hebrew Israelism of the One West variety relating to the island of Puerto Rico. So let's play this, and it'll help give you some context here.
interesante, me encanta, me encantó. Me encantó, aprendí mucho y me gustó.
Y también escuche que qué color que Cristo eres.
Sí, negro.
All right, so that gives you a little example of what IUIC is doing on the island of Puerto Rico, telling people that they're descended from Ephraim. The reason why they're doing it is because sometime in the 70s, a guy named Arias says that he received a vision, and in this vision he was told the 12 tribes of Israel, their modern-day ethnic corollaries from the ancient scripture, and of course, Puerto Ricans are known as Ephraimites under the One West schema. Not right, of course, but what kind of evidence do these guys offer? That's what we're looking at tonight. Hopefully, a gentleman will be joining me soon to talk about this. If not, it'll just be me and y'all. Here's an example of some evidence. These stones. Now, the video I'm about to play is going to be only in Spanish, but it's pretty short. But I'm going to play this, and I hope that I've got the right video lined up. We'll find out soon enough. But this will give you a sense of some of the evidence. Supposedly, the evidence in this case would be that there are some stones with Hebrew writing on them on the island of Puerto Rico. Let's find out here. Let me see if this is right.
Como nosotros lo hacemos ahora, pues demuestra que el arribo de la escritura con los españoles aquí no es la primera instancia donde sistemas como ese se estuvieran empleando, sino que había registrado esto en tiempos precolombinos en Puerto Rico, mucho antes de que llegaran aquí a invadirnos los españoles.
Okay, so I know that's a quick video. It's from the Miami Herald. They've been one of the main news sources that have covered this. And so that's actually what we're going to do now is look at some of the news sources that have covered this. And we do, of course, have some videos we're going to show as well, as you could imagine. So just give me a second to get those lined up, please. Let's see. That's the wrong. It's going to do that. It's going to be annoying. All right, let's go here first. Just give me a second. But there is a poll in the live chat, by the way. I'd like you guys to answer it. If you could, please answer the poll. UK for the website. And I see my good old friend William Butterfield says, well, I thought they didn't use the chart anymore. Well, there are certainly Hebrews-like groups who don't use the chart. But if we're talking about One Westers, they're certainly still using the chart. And so that's why we're going to talk about the chart. So here's the Sun article on this. Okay, we're going to take a look at it here together. Just give me a second to line it up. Stone cold case. Secret stash of 800 stone figures covered in mystery language could be clue to a lost Caribbean civilization. Now, notice even here in the Sun, what does it say? It says it's a mystery language. Hebrew Israelites of the One West variety would have you believe that it's Hebrew. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Number one, were faithful Hebrews supposed to be making figurines in relationship to religious worship in the first place? And I think you know the answer. It's no, because it kind of looks like an idol once you get into that, right? That's the first thing to consider. Now, I know what they'll say, but we'll get into that. Secondly, if there's writing on here, all right, and you're going to tell me what it is, and you're going to say it's Hebrew, guess what has to be able to be done? The Hebrew has to be translated. And I'm going to tell you something. There's 800 stones in this collection we're going to look at. 800. That's plenty to translate. Why hasn't anyone translated them? If it's Hebrew. There's a picture of the stones. All right, here we go. Sam Keach, 2019. A mysterious cache of statuettes supposedly dug up in the Puerto Rican mountains could be first evidence of a lost civilization. And the puzzle is now one step closer to being solved as archaeologists revealed that the figurines were carved around 600 years ago. There's one of them carved around 600 years ago. Now, that, by the way, that's a key thing right here. This says this. Archaeologists reveal figurines carved around 600 years ago. When you hear Hebrew Israelites talk about this, what they'll do is they'll be like, oh, and it's been proven that they're real. It's been proven that they're authentic. It's been proven. That's what you'll get a lot, right? That's what they'll say. What they are trying to say, if they're being honest anyway, is that archaeologists have confirmed these aren't forgeries, that they were carved around 600 years ago. Archaeologists are not confirming that it's Hebrew. So when someone says, oh, they've confirmed they're real, they're authentic, yeah, that just means they're saying we don't think they're forgeries. That's true. They don't think they're forgeries. So I need everyone to keep these things clear. Now, first of all, this is an interesting story, first of all, right? I haven't covered it before. San Miguel has, and I hope he's able to join me. Someone hit up San Miguel. He's supposed to be on tonight. So there you got another picture, yet another picture there. The strange stone figurines were supposedly found deep in the Puerto Rican mountains. By the way, Nate, how's my sound? Do I have the right sound? Can you give me a 1 if I do? Shout out to Dinu. Shout out to Nate. Shout out to Warrior Woman. Shout out to whoever's coming through. Dinu, she says. Anything scribbled on pews and rock. Automatically Hebrew, I guess. Isn't that how it goes? Yeah, if it's in the place that they like, yeah, exactly. That is what we're looking at here. Exactly. Brother Haram Ottawa says, currently living in Puerto Rico. Well, do you know where the University of Haifa is? By the way, it's not in Puerto Rico. It's not in Puerto Rico. It's somewhere else specifically. I'll tell you in a second here. But that's interesting. I'd love to hear, do you know much, have you heard about this story, for example? Do you know much about it? Have you ever heard about it? If you have, it'd be interesting in hearing what you do know about it. And we're going to actually have a conversation with San Miguel if he jumps on. Of course, the University of Haifa is in Israel. But let's read this here. The bizarre figurines were first discovered in the 19th century and have proved controversial ever since. A local monk, a Catholic's involved. Run that back. What? A local monk who found a secret stash of 800 of the statuettes claimed he was guided to the discovery by a dying woman who lived in a mountain hut. Now, usually Hebrew Israelites say you can't trust anything Roman Catholics say, and they've kept our identity hidden. But now they think that, you can trust this particular padre, as it were. Some experts previously claimed that the figurines, which have strange carvings on the exterior, notice all it says, the strange carvings, were created by the monk as a hoax. So when they say that they verified them as real, usually what they're saying is, oh, it doesn't look like the monk created them as a hoax. Looks like that's not the case. And so that's what they mean when they say real, as it were. Okay? Now we'll continue on looking at this story. Very interesting story. Again, hit that like button if you appreciate this kind of content. I want to stress, even though we get into the weeds sometimes, the reason is to expose the truth to you and ultimately point people to Jesus. And sometimes to point people to Jesus, you got to remove the blinders and the things that are blocking them from seeing who he is and the gospel for what it really is and the way. And that's part of what we're trying to do tonight. I hope that all ties together and makes sense. If not, that's on me, but that is the plan by God's grace long-term on this channel and Street Apologist Ministries. So here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. But now archaeologists at the University of Haifa have used microscopic testing to confirm that the statuettes were carved in the late 14th century or early 15th century. So that means the 1300s or the 1400s. Real quick little trick. Whenever you hear somebody say 15th century, sometimes a common mistake, and it's okay, I'm not judging anybody, but a common mistake sometimes people make is when they hear 15th century, they'll think in the 1500s. No. That means in the 1400s. So 15th century is in the 1400s. So then what is 14th century? If somebody says 14th century, what's that? 1300s. You guys are getting it. You're catching on. Possible origin of mysterious figurines. A cache of 6 600-year-old statuettes may be the first evidence of a lost civilization and are said to have been discovered deep in the Puerto Rican mountains. Shows you where it is. See that? All right. Thank you. Continuing on here, another little picture. Looks like something you'd find in a video game, like a character you jump over, huh? Scientists say the carvings are unlike no other writing system. Well, if that's what they're saying, that would mean it's not like Hebrew. But we're going to look at other articles. Someone may say, well, yeah, but you're reading, this is just the Sun article. I'm going to show you different articles here tonight, okay? We're going to get into these, okay? Researchers say this proves that the objects aren't a modern forgery. So that's evidential, it seems. And also say they found evidence of the objects having previously been coated in red paint and even gold. Ooh. This is definitely one of the strangest and most fascinating stories I've been involved in, said Dr. Iris Groman-Yaroslavsky of Haifa University. To date, we have not found any similar carved stone or objects from this region of America. And this is why many researchers assume that they must be fake. So they're an anomaly, but they appear to be a real anomaly. Warrior Woman says, they're kind of cute. They are kind of cute, right? Those little guys. But they remind me of something that would be in a video game that would like be like a jelly thing. And like, like that. Yeah, you guys are funny. Okay. So continuing on here. Bada boom. Bada bing. Okay. The figurines are mysterious for a number of reasons. Many of them are engraved with markings that experts say, quote, can only be some form of writing. Now, Hebrew has already been identified, meaning we know what Hebrew is. You know? Huh? You understand? But it says this is writing, but they don't know what it is. So it means not Hebrew. Understand? People are funny with their video game comments. No doubt. Shout out to everyone in the live chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. Make sure you comment, please. Every little comment helps. And make sure that you vote in the poll. Pretty please. And somebody reach out to San Miguel and tell him, come on the channel. Because this is really his story and his work and his material. In so many ways, he's the one who really put me onto a lot of this. So I got to give him credit. But he's not here. But I had to start. No similar statuettes have ever been found in this region of America. There's zero evidence of any similar writing systems and the other pre-Columbian cultures in the region. The markings don't resemble writing systems used by Aztecs or Mayans, leaving archaeologists baffled. Bizarre history of the stone figurines. Here's what you need to know. The origin of these figurines is highly controversial, with some experts doubting the tale's authenticity. Now notice, doubting the tale's authenticity is a little bit different than doubting the stone's authenticity. We can say these are authentic stones. They're not forgeries from what it appears. However, the tale itself, which we'll get into, it's a little bit different. Warrior Woman says, we've seen brew on the pews, what we can call this. That's a good one. We'll come up with something. William Butterfield says, there's already evidence that Africans were in Puerto Rico. Africa doesn't necessarily make you black, and black doesn't necessarily make you an Israelite. Lots of facts there. That's right, man. How you doing anyway? But it's cold where you're at right now, isn't it, William? Ain't it? BK Apologists is in the live chat as well. Everyone, please subscribe to his channel. He does great work. BK, if you are able to totally jump on this show. I know you've covered it before. I know it's, an area that you've dealt with. And so this is only for you. I'm going to put the link right there in the live chat. For BK and Miguel only. All right, there you go. If you want to. Hey, if you can't, you can't, But you see what I'm doing. You see what I'm doing. But it's always good to have you if you're able to. But, either way, much love. All right. Public awareness of the figurines began after a Puerto Rican monk named Jose Maria Nazario presented a collection of 800 of the statuettes. Some of them had human form, while others seemed to be artistic or ritual items. According to Nazario, an old woman close to death invited him to her hut in the mountains. Once there, she told him about a treasure that her family had been guarding for centuries. So this is an interesting story, right? She's like, hey, it's been passed down. There's a treasure. We've been, whatever. This is kind of interesting, isn't it? Oops, I made it too large. Ooh, BK's coming in. Just a second, my G. All right, I'm glad to have you. Yeah, that's great. All right, BK and the place to be. What? You know what? Let me see if I can just. Oh, you don't got your camera on or what? Well, I'll make it where you can at least be heard then. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, BK.
Yo,
Oops, I just hit the wrong button. What happened there? Hold on, that's not what we want to do. Hey, man, it's good to hear your voice, man. How you doing tonight, BK?
I'm chilling, man. What's going on, sir?
I'm doing all right. Everyone, welcome BK Apologist to Street Apologist Live. Last minute notice, but I'm just glad you're here, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, I see you're audio only tonight, so anytime you want to pipe up, you can. What do you think of the story so far? We're going to get into more details. What do you think so far? I know you know about it.
Well, I mean, it's funny because we was talking earlier today about it, and when I first saw you gonna go live about this subject, I'm like, we debunked this like 4 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's like the fact that it's resurging again is like it's like the zombie posts. You thought you gave it a headshot and it was buried, but here we are again. So
Yeah, sometimes we have to double tap and triple tap.
pretty much.
Seriously, no joke. So yeah, he's exactly right with everything he just said there, by the way. And it is making the rounds again. If you're coming in and you're wondering, why aren't we covering this? What's going on? It's because recently in the past month, Hebrew Israelites, specifically, especially IUIC, have been pushing this out again. And we might get into some of the specifics. Just know they've been pushing it out again. And so we're like, well, I guess it's time to cover it. And in my case, it's not covering it again because I've never really covered this. So for us on this channel, it is really the first time, except in mentioning it, in passing or something like that. But right now, we're just giving everyone the background. So here's what it says. She explained how it had belonged to the ancient inhabitants of the area. Now, look. This source has got problems. I'm just trying to show you a pop-level source. And notice how many typos and spelling errors you got. Even with inhabitants, you got one, right? But I do like they make it simple. That's the beauty of sort of pop sources is they make it easy to explain. We don't claim this is an academic source. This is what people get at a pop level if they've heard of it. So that's why we're showing it. I want people to understand where we're coming from. The old woman gave him detailed instructions about where to find the treasure. Doesn't this, honestly, this sounds like a movie. There's a family secret, and there's a treasure map. X marks the spot. It's just like, and then he goes there and says, what is this writing? I've never seen it. And he takes it, and, there's always booby traps like Indiana Jones and the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's what I'm feeling right now. Anyways, I'm making fun of an old woman's death. I'm sorry. Nazario, not really, I'm just saying the story. Nazario, following her instructions, headed deep into the mountains and found a pit covered by a large stone. This does sound fanciful, right? All we can do is relay what Nazario said, though. He removed the stone as instructed by the old woman and found hundreds of statuettes. Ever since, archaeologists have been trying to discern the true origin of the figurines. Importantly, there's no way to verify if Nazario's tale is true or not. That's true. So apparently they were found under a stone by a monk under instruction from an old dying woman who lived nearby in a hut. And there's even a rumor that it was a shoe, and she had so many grandchildren, she didn't know what to do. Just kidding. That's not...
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Due to the difficulty of assessing the figurines, as well as suspicions of a 19th century hoax, expert largely lost interest in the collection. But in 2001, a research student named Renel Rodriguez Ramos decided to investigate the statuettes. I decided to study the stones from scratch, to come to a clean slate without any assumptions about were they real or fake, and to let the findings talk. He noted that many of the figurines only had color changes on one side, suggesting that one side had been buried and the other was exposed to air and sunlight. Sadly, this didn't prove that the engravings and carvings weren't added later on, possibly by the monk. Rodriguez linked up with Dr. Groman Yarovsky's laboratory, which specializes in microscopic examinations. This can reveal how objects were made, what tools were used, and whether the techniques and tools are ancient or modern. According to the research, the stones were unequivocally carved in ancient times. Under the microscope, we can see the erosion of the stones and the brown-gray patina that is typically found when items have been buried or exposed to the ravages of nature for extensive periods. Dr. Groman. Now, I'm going to stop right there for a second. This is true. Now, we're making inferences The people involved are making inferences from what we know currently about certain processes and applying that and their training and expertise to this issue. That's what they're supposed to do, is train experts. I don't have a problem with anything here. However, I'm stopping here to bring a point about something else. There's something that Hebrew Israelites of the One West variety talk about called the Los Lunas Decalogue Stone. It's in New Mexico. Supposedly, it's got the Ten Commandments on it in Paleo-Hebrew. Well, it actually does have the Ten Commandments in Paleo-Hebrew. Okay, there are some errors in it, etc., but it's there. But they've done the same type of, they've done similar, because this is a giant stone that you can't move versus these little stones that you can move. They've done similar analysis of the Los Lunas Decalogue Stone, and guess what? It does not show signs of erosion or wear, and it's essentially exposed. Now, I brought this out to Hebrew Israelite one time, and they're like, you don't know there's a place right over it where it shades it, and so that protects it. That, first of all, that would not protect it from everything. And shade, the way it works, it's only sometimes shaded anyway. And the scientists understand that. You know, some YouTube Israelite understands what the people investigating this don't. So if you're going to apply that here, which you should and I have no problem with, don't forget to do the same kind of thing when you talk about the Los Lunas Decalogue Stone and what that means. By the way, Mormons like the Los Lunas Decalogue Stone too. In fact, Glenn Beck has even promoted it. I bet if Glenn Beck knows about this, he's probably promoted it at some point as well too, because he's a Mormon and they like to find evidence of Hebrew in the Americas because they think they're lost Israelites. Okay, continuing on. The items are made from a mineral that was originally a greenish black, but the erosion covers the engravings across the entire item, and there's no evidence of any modern manipulation that would have exposed the natural surface of the mineral. The processing marks on the items show that special chiseling tools were used, and all the items appear to share a unique style. So, this is one of the main guys we're going to learn about here today. I actually showed his video briefly in the beginning from the Miami Herald, and he was speaking in Spanish there. And the caption says, modern microscope dating techniques suggest the stones were carved around 600 years ago. All right. He also found that remnants of gold appeared to coat some of the items. This reinforces one theory that the figurines were used in ancient ritual worship. Now, that doesn't sound like something faithful Hebrews would do. But of course, the One West would be like, well, this is our people going off. So it's kind of funny. They have them writing in Hebrew, but they got them going off. You know, they want to have it both ways again and again and again. Evidence of red paint covering parts of the eyes and mouth in some figurines also reflect a complex process of design and finishing. It also adds weight to the fact that the stones were produced locally as gold and... What's that word, somebody? O-C-H-R-E? Do you know what that is? Ochre? What is that? Let's find out what that is. What is it? A native earth color with hydrated iron oxide. Okay. Well, I don't know how to pronounce it, but at least we see what it is. Okay, so let me make sure I don't lose the story here. Okay, so I don't think you don't know about mining, do you, BK?
No, sir. I'm from Brooklyn. We don't do too much mining over here. Sorry.
I thought that might be the case. Although there's evidence, there's a whole additional train system under the city there. At least that's, remember in Spider-Man?
Yeah, I mean there is definitely older subway stations that are no longer in use. That is correct, but
Have you ever gone
no mining.
city exploring as a
No,
youth?
no, sir.
Okay.
I'm a native New Yorker. I don't
I
do those
gotcha.
things.
Andrew says ochre is the pronunciation. So my guess is you know something about it, Andrew. And by the way, I appreciate that. Can you tell me anything more about ochre? I don't know anything much about it, but it's interesting, right? We're learning. William says vocab is only asking for more books for his birthday. Yeah, basically. That's right, William. And I got a list. But I mean, super chats are cool too. Like the one that Thomas Carlisle just sent. Thank you very much. Much love to everybody. Okay, including BK. Subscribe to BK. Someone drop BK's channel on the live chat if you haven't already done so, please, so we can make sure people sub to that. Okay, here's what it says. This reinforces one theory. Okay. And facial design details make it much more likely the figurines were associated with ritual activity. The items were clearly struck with the solid object, since we can see deliberate destruction around the nose and chin. Researchers explain, according to Haifa University. Again, you know, it's funny. To even read and understand this article, the One Westers have to take the word of Israelis, the University of Haifa, Jewish folks who they say are part of a conspiracy to cover up their real roots, and a Roman Catholic priest. They have to take the word of everyone they say is out to cover up their true, you gotta love it. According to Haifa University, Rodriguez will now continue to investigate the existence of a previously unknown pre-Columbian civilization waiting to be uncovered. Now, I'm gonna come back to that in a little bit, but BK, when you hear this story, and I'm gonna change the name on the screen real quick, what runs through your mind?
Well, I mean, it takes me back to when I first started my channel, and when you first started your group, Facebook group, Hebrew Israelites versus Christians, and this is at the time when I initially saw this claim. This came about the same time when we see that the meme of the fake slave auction sign that says Hebos. They're supposed to be the
Yep.
Hebrews, but we found out that that was a forgery. Because actually, I mean, I don't know if I could get to it now. Can I share my screen?
Oh,
I
you're
can
gonna
show a
share your
couple things.
screen? Okay, hold on. You can share your screen. Go ahead, and I'll drop it in.
All right, cool. So let's go.
You're a little quiet. I got you up as loud as you can go. I don't know if
All
you
right,
can.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah, I
now?
mean, I just but here I'm gonna put it on there right now. Okay, go ahead. You're now sharing your screen. It's gonna take me a second to get the dimensions right, but go ahead.
All right. So usually when someone would present this claim, they would present it from this particular article, right? From the river winds, right? The 800 ancient stones with Hebrew writing in Puerto Rico authenticated. So, and you already talked about most of this already, but when you get to the end of the article, it shows you the sources that the article uses. One of those sources is Agent Trove may attest to lost civilization in Puerto Rico, Haaretz Israel News, right? So I'm like, okay, they gave us sources. Let me look at the source that they cite. So I found the article, right? Agent Trove may attest to lost civilization in Puerto Rico. And here's the gentleman that we see in the initial photo where he's holding one of the artifacts, Mr. Renil Rodriguez Ramos. So this is what he says in this Haaretz article that the other article cites from, right? He says, given the inexplicable nature of the statuettes, origin theories have abounded. Nazario himself postulated that they have been carved by descendants of the 10 lost tribes because he thought he recognized Hebrew or Chaldean letters in the inscriptions. This theory did not win acceptance. 10 tribes? No, no, Rodriguez Ramos tells Haaretz. He explains that Chris Rolston, an expert in ancient languages of the Levant, including Hebrew and Phoenician, suggests that untenable similarities might be observed here and there, but the structures of the writing systems are fundamentally different. So it cites a source that completely undercuts the claim, which is very
Mm-hmm.
weird. But and that's how I used to just share this article, and that was it. Game over. So
Yeah, because it's right in there that no, that's not the case.
right. So
You
and
can
that's it.
see it right there. So why do they continue to do this and use this? It seems dishonest. Maybe they haven't read it. What's the issue? But there's some kind of problem. Oh, are you done sharing your screen? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it takes. That's all it
Have
took.
you made a meme out of it yet?
Yes, I have. Let me see, where is it? It's all right, let me share my screen again.
All right, go ahead. Well, you
All right,
can. You just
so
gotta share it.
yeah, this is the meme I made before. This is like one of my first when I first started learning how to make memes and thumbnails. So real simple, that's the article, the source the article cites from, the quote from that source. Boom, 1 2 3, done.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it, man. That's
You know,
perfect. Here, I'm gonna make that on the whole screen just so everyone can really see it here. Here, I'm gonna make that on the whole Let's make that the whole daggone screen so people can really see what's up.
So yeah, so every time they would put that article up, I will put up this meme.
There you
And of
go.
course they'd be upset and it's the white man and blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah, but they're trusting all the sources for everything that they like in here, you know?
Right. Right. So yeah, that's it.
All right, excellent. Yep, you're exactly right. Exactly right. That's it. I mean, what else do you need? So, do you have special interest being that you hail from the same motherland, or is it just another thing?
Well, yeah, it definitely means a little bit more for me when they do this because you're talking about my people and my culture, and it's a misrepresentation of my people and my culture, and not that there couldn't be some sort of admixture of Hebrews coming into the island of Borinquen. Like, I'm not saying that's not possible. My thing is, if you're going to make the claim, you need to make some really good correlations that are compelling evidence for said claim. And we really haven't really seen any of that as of yet. So I'm open to the fact that that could be. It's just this is not the way to do it by citing sources that actually undercut your argument.
Yeah, that seems pretty basic, right?
You know.
Yeah,
So
have you ever had one Westers tell you, maybe they don't know who you are, or I don't know what the case is, tell you you're of Ephraim?
of course,
What
yeah.
kind of reasons do you remember them giving you? Did they ever?
If they just well, honestly, they would just point to the chart. That's it. The Troll tribe chart. Like, what nation are you from, brother? I'm like, well, I'm Puerto Rican. Oh, well, you're the tribe of Ephraim. I'm like, well, how you figure that? And
Yeah.
oh, bro, you just gotta blah blah blah. We're cursed, and but they wouldn't give me a compelling argument for why I am from that specific tribe. They just point to the chart, and that's it.
Well, now you know it's the Stones, man.
There you go. There you go.
It's the Stones. Well, let's take a look here. I've got some other articles I want to bring up and show people. Specifically, let's go to the whole Haaretz article. I think that makes sense to go there.
Sure.
So here we are. Haaretz. Haaretz is out of Israel, by the way, everyone. It is, and it's sort of I guess what you might call a left. It's kind of a left paper there, and it's not exactly conservative, and they do have some interesting stories and stuff. And so let's take a look here. This is from July 2019. Ancient trove may attest to lost civilization in Puerto Rico. Notice that even just the story, when people talk about this, they're saying, hey, we found these stones and they may tell us more about the pre-Columbian civilization that we didn't really know a lot in Puerto Rico. They're not talking about it's Hebrew on there or anything like that, because that's not really part of the story unless you get into the pseudoscience and pseudo-archaeology element. By the way, shout out to William Butterfield. Appreciate the birthday super chat. My man. God bless. And that is greatly appreciated. University of Haifa use Ware Lab called in to verify hidden cache of ancient figurines, proving they really are pre-Columbian. So that's the essence of the story. Understand? The essence of the story is these are pre-Columbian from what we determine now, from what it seems now. So no one's trying to hide anything. These are before Columbus and all those guys after him stepped foot over here. And that's very interesting because it could attest to a language or a code that is previously unknown, because it's still not really known. Now, we may have an example of whatever this is, but that's all we know. This is still there's elements of mystery and an unsolved thing still going on with this. So we're just saying what's there, what's not. Now, we won't be able to read the whole story because I'm not logging in, but I'm just showing you that part right here. And you see this, a collection of enigmatic figures given to a monk by their dying guardian in the late 1870s. So this is when these were first discovered. So 1870s is when they're first discovered, apparently. But 600 years prior to the date we're at now about, all right? Could be artifacts from a lost civilization that lived in Puerto Rico as long as 3,000 years ago, scientists suggest. Okay, so we're learning a little something. Now, let's take a look at some others here. This is Israel 21C. Secrets of Mysterious.
Okay, before you do that, you could check your Facebook inbox. I actually have a PDF of the whole article that you just read.
Ooh, okay. Appreciate that. Okay.
I just
All
put
right.
in
Well,
your
thank you.
capital
BK
on it.
always comes with the sources and the citations and the data and the documents and everything. So that's greatly appreciated. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, yeah. I think that's one you sent before the show, too. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So that's one we might go back and look at. Thank you. Secrets of mysterious stone artifacts revealed in Israeli lab. Ancient statuettes from Puerto Rico, once alleged to have been made by members of the 10 lost tribes of Israel, traveled to Haifa for examination. So this is something that some people thought at one point. So you have the two people that decided in the story there, Iris Gorman Yaroslawski and Reniel Rodriguez Ramos. And this is also dated from 2019. I'm going to make this a little larger here, just a second. The unknown origins of a collection of mysterious statuettes from Puerto Rico, long ago believed to have been made by Jews from the 10 lost tribes. So what's interesting about this is there's people who have said this before. One Westers are recycling an old debunked argument. That's important to understand. This One West thing is new to us, but almost everything in it is old. The devil loves remixes.
Sure.
You know? Because people love the remixes. Take that hit, flip it, got another hit. Exile from the land of Israel in ancient times are now closer to being understood thanks to Israeli technology. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, One Westers. The objects were flown to Israel for analysis at the Use Wear Analysis Laboratory of the University of Haifa's Zinman Institute of Archaeology, which specializes in revealing how various objects were made, what tools were used to make them, and the era of the techniques and tools used. This is fascinating research, by the way. Lab director Iris Groman Yarsolowski confirmed that the objects were carved in the 16th century, and she discovered evidence that some of the objects were coated in gold and red paint. This is definitely one of the strangest and most fascinating stories I've ever been involved in. To date, we have not found any similar carved stone or objects from this region of America. Many researchers assume that they must be fake. However, the microscopic tests we performed show beyond any doubt that the stones were carved around 600 years ago. So we already read this quote in another article, but it's important to also think about this. These are anomalies, so we don't really, in a way, know what to put them in. They're guessing that they're used for ritualized worship or something like that. They don't really know. And the thing is, if you would have some evidence of like a Hebrew civilization on the island of Puerto Rico, you've got to think they would leave more than just some stones that don't even actually have Hebrew on them. You know, there would be a context of this. And this is the case. We have artifacts that show a Jewish or Israelite origin in some of the places they were in captivity in, number one. And there's all kinds of artifacts in the land of Israel and the surrounding environs as well. All kinds. But not in the Americas, there's not. Not so much. The story of these objects, known as the Library of... How's your Spanish pronunciation? How do you say that word? Aguabanya?
Aguabanya.
Aguabanya. Sounds like the plot of an Indiana Jones movie. In the 19th century, a Puerto Rican monk by the name of Jose Marie Nazario presented a collection of some 800 carved stone statuettes. Some had a human form, while others appeared to be artistic or ritual items. Many were engraved with a previously unknown form of writing. No similar statuettes or art objects have ever been found in this region of America, and the markings bear no resemblance to the writing systems developed by the Aztecs or Mayans. So they don't know what it is. But we know what Hebrew is. So why are these guys saying it's Hebrew when no one else is saying it's Hebrew? Because no one knows what language it is, if it's a language. Nazario claimed that an old woman had invited him to her mountain hut and told him of a treasure her family had been guarding for centuries. He said that she gave him detailed instructions to find the treasure. Nazario followed her instructions and headed deep into the mountains and eventually reaching a pit covered by a large stone, just as the woman had told him. When he removed the stone, he found hundreds of statuettes. He thought these were objects made by members of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. So that's what he thought right away there. Now, why is that? Well, there's a whole thing to this, and that's the end of that article. I'm going to show everybody something real quick here. And I'm going to show you guys something real quick here. I got a couple books on this type of thing. And I've written a couple blog articles also on this. For example, this is a great book. Hebrew and the Bible in America, First 2 Centuries. There's a couple of specific chapters in here. They're so helpful to understand this search for the lost tribes that a lot of Europeans had in the back and sometimes in the front of their mind during the age of exploration as well as colonization. And it's just simply a reality. And you got to read books that show you what the sources are and quote from the primary sources of those days to understand this. And then you'll say, oh, this was part of Europeans' thinking at the time. Where are those 10 lost tribes? Because a lot of eschatological schemes at the time had in mind, if we can find the lost tribes, we can bring them to Christ and then hasten the day of the Lord's return. That's how it tied in. Now, first chapter, European background. Second chapter, the legend of the 10 lost tribes. The 10 lost tribes, these are the subchapters under section 2. The rise and fall of the Jewish Indian theory. That's one you really got to read. The Hope of Israel in Modern Ethnography and Eschatology by Grant Underwood. Very important. And then this third section is actually American Puritan Hebraism. So they thought this as well. And you got to read about it to understand it. And this is a great resource for that. This is published by Brandeis University and Dartmouth College. Let me give you another example of this kind of book that you need to have to understand this type of thing. Here we go. Old Canaan and the New World. Native Americans and Lost Tribes of Israel by Elizabeth Penton. This is New York University Press. So this is an academic subject that people actually study. And again, I have 2 blogs about it, and I encourage you to look at those if you're not going to get the books. What I'm saying, there's a whole thing there. One Westers are recycling something from the European age of exploration and colonization. Chapter 1, Proof Positive Hebraic Indians and the Emergence of Probability Theory. Chapter 2, A Complete Indian System, James Adair and the Ethnographic Imagination. James Adair is cited nonstop in Hebrew Israelite discussions when they try to prove the 12 tribes chart. So this book, by the way, is not written to debunk Hebrew Israelism. These people don't know about Hebrew Israelism. They're writing to just explain the Hebraic Indian or Israelite Indian theory. That's what they're talking about there. Elias Boudin, William Appice, and the Accidents of History. Can't pronounce the names, but those are names you're going to hear once you see these One Westers hold up an old book. Indian Removal and the Decline of American Hebraism, and then The Hollow Earth and the End of Time, and then DNA and the Rediscovery of History. Really good books that I recommend to you. And so don't be snowed by this silly One West proving the chart nonsense whenever there's some find they can try to turn into their favor. Don't do it. Shout out to Brandon1689. You know I love the last 4 because I know the year and what you're talking about there of your handle there. Shout out to you. Just keep up the faithful work for the super chat.
Another interesting angle with the Hebrew Indian theory was there were those who are, trying to defend the natives in America, and they would use the theory because the issue was that we did not see the natives as actual human beings. So they would use the Hebrew Indian theory to prove that if they were Hebrews, therefore they were humans, therefore we have to treat them with a certain amount of respect. So they would actually use, which is funny, right? Because these white men and women were actually trying to save the natives with this theory.
Yep.
The very people that you call the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? These guys were actually using this theory to try to save the natives. So I thought that'd be interesting. Just to
Yeah. It's everything he's saying is true, and it's very interesting. And all you got to, it's like look into a little bit of things, and you realize that a lot of the stuff Hebrew Israelites, especially the One West variety, put forward it's extremely pseudo. And then you also realize that they don't look a lot of times much into the background of even what they're promoting or what they're saying. And they really should. They really should if they're really going to do their due diligence. But that's what apologists are here. We're here to hold their feet to the fire. And along the way, you, the audience, get to learn more about history because there's a lot of important history wrapped up in this. So let's learn it together. So I return back here now to the screen, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit. This is from 2019 as well. This is the Miami Herald article on this. And let's take a look at what the Miami Herald article says. Because sometimes you'll see these Hebrew Israelites, and they'll just have this headline. And if you don't know what's going on, you're like, oh, for real? Dismissed as fakes for a century? Enigmatic Puerto Rican stones could rewrite history? What? But what are they actually talking about? They're saying, hey, there may have been a writing system we weren't aware of because we still don't know what it is. And there may be a lost civilization we don't know a lot about because we don't know much about the people that would have produced this. So that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about an Israelite Indian theory. They're not talking about the One West tribe. They're not talking about Hebrew found in the so-called New World. That's not what they're talking about. But you'll find these Israelite videos and they try to make you think that's what they're talking about. But that's not what they're talking about. There's more of the stones, by the way. And you can see that there are subtitles for that. Well, here we go. Let's look at this. For more than a century, Puerto Rico's Father Nazario stones have been considered frauds designed to dupe collectors of antiquities. Now, new research by archaeologists from Puerto Rico, Washington, and Israel suggests the etched stones are real. So what do they mean by real? They mean they're not fakes. That's what they're saying. Doesn't mean they're really Hebrew, everybody. Just, again, I keep on reiterating this because you can let people fool you if you're not paying attention. But that's where BK and hopefully myself come into play. All right? To save you from the lives of the One Westers, honestly. I'm just saying. Okay. For more than a century, the fist-side rocks etched with enigmatic patterns were ignored by academics and shunned by cultural power brokers. Discovered in Puerto Rico in the 1880s by a priest who was convinced they were a link to one of the lost tribes of Israel, the stones were declared forgeries in the early 1900s by researchers from the Smithsonian Institution. By the way, if one of the goals of the Roman Catholic Church was to trick the Israelites into not understanding they were Israelites, then why did this father put forth this theory that that's who did it? Because when he found them, he was trying to say what he thought they were. Why would he have said that then? Everybody? See, their stories don't line up with what they're trying to push, is my point by saying that. All right? And so the rocks languished, literally collecting dust. When Puerto Rican archaeologist Renel Rodriguez Ramos first stumbled onto the collection in 2001, RRX were so unappreciated that one was being used as a doorstop. For shame. The stones were considered garbage, Rodriguez recalls. They were getting no love from any institution or even any archaeologist in Puerto Rico. All right? But they weren't destroyed. So if it's some conspiracy theory like some of these guys are trying to say, then why didn't they just secretly destroy them or hide them under the Vatican where everything else is? But now rocks known as Las Piedras del Padre Nazario, or for the Nazario stones, are undergoing a radical reevaluation. Not only is there growing evidence of their genuine antiquities, there are also clues that they might represent a lost language. Lost language. Lost language. Lost language doesn't say Hebrew. Lost language, it says lost language. It says lost language, it doesn't say Hebrew.
Well, but it sounds close enough to lost tribes. So
It's
this
that
is
word
where they made
lost
the
in there.
connection. Right, exactly.
It gets him every time. Did someone say lost? You've cracked the code. Thank you, BK.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
A finding that could rewrite the island's pre-Columbian history. This is interesting, by the way. Again, I'm trying to point out this is an interesting story. So we're not saying this is garbage. We're saying this is an interesting story. Wow. A lot of elements going on here, right? A lot of elements. But not Hebrew. And let me just show you something real quick, everyone. Let's just say these stones, all 800 of them, were filled with Hebrew. Let's just say it was Hebrew. Let's just say. Who wrote it? Who wrote it? Don't know who wrote it. Even if it was Hebrew, it would not prove that the Taino natives were Israelites or something like that. You'd have to find out who wrote it. And guess what? Even if you know who wrote it, it wouldn't necessarily be that they were Israelite. What? Because you can have a non-Israelite people writing in Hebrew. I'm just saying, if. But the thing is, it's non-Hebrew. If it was, though, why hasn't anyone translated them? Shout out to Phil Fox. He says, happy day after Native American Heritage Day. Hey, that's beautiful. That is true. It is. And this is a perfect story to read on this time. You know what I should do, Phil Fox? Every year on Native American Heritage Day, we should do a story specific to the situation. Not necessarily about the stones, but something like that. You know? By the way, everyone subscribe to Phil Fox. Drops of Hope Ministry. Afani the Koga. Standing in his cramped lab at the University of Puerto Rico's Utah campus, Rodriguez puts one of the stones under a magnifying glass and describes the figure he sees chiseled into its surface. It seems to be the profile of a man wearing something akin to a turban. Oh, they're going to like that.
You see?
BK, they're going to like that, aren't they?
Oh, big time.
I could just see Katazar reading this in an ISCPK meeting. Turban! Oh, that's a... Did he say baseball hat? Nope. Did he say polo? No. Did he say Kango? No. Did he say cowboy? No. Turban! Because, anyways, lines curving around the stone surface are pocked with small symbols. Dinu said Rakah's going to like that. Hey, Jimmy, that's pretty good, actually. It was the Puerto Ricans. I mean, kind of.
Yeah, in the way, yeah.
You know, kind of.
Yeah.
So there he is, checking out for the Father Nazario stones. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, an archaeologist at the University of Puerto Rico's Utah campus, holds one of the Father Nazario stones he's been studying. All right. Rodriguez has identified about 20 symbols that repeat across the more than 300 stones he studied. Initially, he thought the angles and sloping lines might be astronomical information and a guide to the cosmos. Hey, this is very different. You see what he's talking about? Angles, sloping lines, looks like it might be astronomical information. And notice, he's got 20 symbols that he's seeing repeat again and again and again across 300 stones. Now, there's 800. He's saying, I've studied 300 and I've seen 20 symbols that have repeated. Are any of them an Aleph? A Gimel? You see what I'm saying? But no, I don't think so. It's a system of annotation, not a decoration, Rodriguez said, cradling a stone. Is it a commercial or a spiritual annotation? Notice that, a commercial annotation. This could be currency. This could be something you use to barter. We don't know. Is it a registry of name? These could be genealogical records. We don't know. And guess what? The next
stones.
Boundary
stones or some kind of,
Yeah, and so you shouldn't be moving them. We don't know yet, but it's something revolutionary in the Americas. That is an interesting story, no doubt. Okay, so have you ever seen any videos about this, BK? Have you ever watched any? Just curious.
No, sir.
No?
I've only seen the article. I've never seen someone actually do a video on this.
Do you wanna watch a video about this?
Sure.
Because I got one from Gorilla Hebrew.
Oh boy.
And Sakari, and they're talking to I guess a Jewish guy that lives in Israel, and they bring up the stones. You want to watch this together?
They're talking to a member of the synagogue of Satan?
That's not. This is yes. Hold on, just give me a second. Give me a second here.
Sería un nuevo sistema en las Américas donde no existe nada parecido a esto. Y yo creo que abonaría elementos para
okay, I'm gonna play.
Algo que nosotros
Hold on, just give me a second. So I thought I had it already. Just give me a second, everyone. I know it's not showing up just yet, but it will. It will. So hold on. Come on now. Where'd it go? There we go. Come on now. Hold on. Just give me a second. I gotta throw this up here. Okay.
Classic Spanish record. Very
Okay.
classic.
Okay. I mean, he's got a dope vibe. That's something you
Good
can definitely
taste. Good
sample.
taste. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Inside of Puerto Rico, stating that not only it belongs to these people, it's written in ancient Hebrew, and it has the 10 tribes that left Salmanesse's captivity. That's wrong.
Okay.
So this is San Miguel's video he made. It's funny, by the way. And this is not Sakari, because I thought I had that one downloaded and I apparently don't. So I'll have to look at that one later. But in this one, or I don't know if we'll get to it, this is ISUPK. And that's
Wait, hold
Katazai.
on, vocab. That was a lot of claims he just did in the first 10 seconds.
You want to hear that again?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. You want to tell the people anything about Katazai?
I mean, he's Puerto Rican. Well, his dad is Puerto Rican, even though he doesn't look like the traditional Puerto Rican, but he is. Phenotypically he doesn't look Puerto Rican, but he is. And yeah, and people always make fun of him because of that. But
But we're not going to do that, right?
no, we're not.
Because you're a nice guy, right?
Yeah. So I've heard.
All right, let's see. Okay. So let's watch this. Listen carefully, everyone, to Katazai's claims on the ISUPK radio show.
What do you do with the 800 stones that was found and authenticated inside of Puerto Rico, stating that not only it belongs to these people, it's written in ancient Hebrew, and it has the 10 tribes that left Salmanesse's captivity? That's wrong.
Not that. That's a lot. Really? I don't remember none of that happening in the articles that we looked at.
You know,
So
what he
not
would
only
say?
this Hebrew writing, it also says that it's the 10 tribes.
Yep.
Really? Okay.
I mean, no. He that's why San Miguel put on there wrong, because it's not true, And since you're not on camera, I'm showing the Doberman, by the way.
That's okay. I'm not offended. So
No. Yeah. Okay. So one more time, listen to this. This is a lot of false claims in one sentence.
That was found and authenticated inside of Puerto Rico, stating that not only it belongs to these people, it's written in ancient Hebrew, and it has the 10 tribes that left Salmanesse's captivity.
It doesn't have any of that. The only thing that's been authenticated is that they're not forgeries.
right.
So imagine him saying this with such confidence, and it's all just wrong.
Okay. So I would challenge what you believe is some Hebrew.
This is
So
San
you
Miguel on the
mentioned
phone,
the
by the
stones
way.
You just broke up.
in Puerto Rico, the 800 stones.
You just broke up.
It's never been verified that it was Hebrew. It's actually dated to the 1400s, 14th century, and those are stones that can be carried from Spain to Puerto Rico. That's not like the Las Lunas stone, which is something that cannot be carried. So that just finding some stones, because in Puerto Rico you have nothing else that shows that they had a written language. There's nothing else that shows that they even had a written language that connects that. So that's out of context.
No,
So
it's
the
not.
best explanation.
Everything he said is true, by the way. Everything he said is true, by the way.
I'm sorry?
It's not. But I'll wait. I'll wait until you're done. And I don't know if you want to go artifact for artifact, but
Yeah.
like the problem is that you haven't done your history on the stones. I don't know if you're on Wikipedia. I've done thorough
I
research
actually
on
have.
it. You haven't, but go ahead.
How would he know? Like what? Notice Katazai didn't give any sources. He just said, "Oh, here's what it is," because he's done thorough research. I mean, we're
He's
supposed
gonna
to
go
trust.
artifact for artifact. So he has looked and deciphered all 800 stones. Like,
Yeah, this would be groundbreaking because no one else has deciphered them. Katazai needs to be working for the University of Haifa, not for commanding General Yakana, who's second only to Christ.
I have done it. It doesn't say that it's Hebrew. They thought it was Phoenician, and now they're saying that it's not even that. I looked at the Miami Herald report on it. There's the Sun report on it, and it doesn't say that it's connected to the Puerto Ricans or the Taínos. There's nothing else in that island that would confirm that like in a cave or something where you can't move it from Spain over. So you can say, okay, they had this.
He's making the point that these are out of context culturally and archaeologically, and you can't guarantee they weren't transported from somewhere. He's not necessarily saying he knows they were. He's saying that's part of the issue or the challenge. All right. Shout out to Larry Love for the super chat. Thank you very, very much. You keep the show going. Appreciate that, my friend. All right. So he's making good points, San Miguel.
It doesn't say it was Hebrew from what I read. And then it dates it to the 14th century, which is really close to when the Spanish started coming there.
Where did they find the stones?
Say that again?
Hey, BK, did you notice what Katazaj just did?
Yeah, it's called a red herring fallacy.
Yeah, so there's a lot there that he does, right? So San Miguel just brought up I think you can legitimately say counterpoints to Katazaj's claim. And instead of addressing any of those, because he just talked about let's go artifact for artifact, instead of doing that, he says, do you know where they found them? So first of all, he's trying to test him. He's trying to say that has something to do with it. But notice, he's not actually addressing the points or anything like that. He's basically changing the subject to something else that's not exactly very relevant to this. It's very disingenuous, and he's not addressing it. I just want to point that out, everyone. He asks him a question instead of addressing anything.
Right. It's a way for him to try to do Miguel can't answer the question. He's like, well, you see? So who are you to be speaking about the subject? We don't know whether even, so now he gets a foothold on the conversation. So
Yeah, I just want to point that out. Like we'd go artifact for artifact, but then he doesn't do that.
Stones.
According to Father Nazario, his account, he said he got it from a woman that said these are healing stones.
Okay, and she got the
so it was
stones
found
from where?
In Puerto Rico.
She got the stones from where? Because there's more to that story.
Well, this is according to the story. So this is a story, right? We don't know what Father Nazario knew or what that woman. This is not even a story coming directly from. This is a secondhand story from a woman that nobody even met. So we're talking about a secondhand story now. Like, how valid is this? Now, how do we know that
he's making the point that Father Nazario is telling us what the gal said, but it's a nameless person. Doesn't necessarily mean it's false. He's just saying, understand the story by definition starts off as being secondhand. We don't have any evidence of the conversation.
Right, we don't have any primary evidence of that.
Yeah. So he's saying, how did she have the stones? Well, she didn't possess the stones, even by the own account. She just knew where they were.
Didn't believe that this came from some people that came across the seas. What stones heal people too? Do those stones actually have healing powers?
Because
he's pointing out the kind of magical, legendary nature elements, and just a little bit. And it's like, is that something an Israelite would believe, that stones heal people?
I'm going to help you out, right?
See, so condescending and so wrong. He doesn't address anything San Miguel said and says, I'm going to help you out. Bro, you're not helping anybody out, Katazal. You're helping your own self out of a jam because you don't know how to answer valid criticism. You're helping your own self out by changing the subject. You're not helping him out. He would help you out if you could see the light based upon what he's saying. Now, he's an atheist, so I only mean the light in this instance, not about other things.
These stones,
but do those stones actually have healing power?
These stones were passed down. This is why she had them. That's what you're leaving out.
Okay.
So in order for you to turn around and say that these stones were just there in the 1400s, that's bullshit.
Well, wait, why? Because that's
not what he says anyway. He said chain of custody, so to speak. So
So how's it BS? Because that's what the researchers say is they're from perhaps the 1400s. So what's he talking about? It's just
strong man.
Yeah, so much. So there's that Sun article, by the way. San Miguel's showing it now on his video. So he's kind of going through it. So we went through this one already, everybody. You guys see this? So we're going through this in various ways so you guys can know these things. Now, continuing back.
Reading that, because here's the thing, right? First, they tried to say that the stones were fake, right? But the Smithsonian still wanted to buy them. Why are you buying something that's fake?
Oh my gosh. He thinks that proves it. Listen to what he says, BK. Watch this. This is fascinating. Watch this. And by the way, the answer is manifold. One is to study them to find out if they are authentic, number one. Number two is even forgeries have their places in museums. It's just like, do you not know this stuff? It's like there couldn't be only one explanation. They wanted to buy them because they knew they were actually real, but they just said they were fake because they're covering up the conspiracy, so they wanted to hurry up and destroy them, so that's why they wanted to buy them, because they're covering them up. That's kind of
Because historical hoaxes are also historical.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
They tried to say that the stones were fake, right? But the Smithsonian still wanted to buy them. Why are you buying something that's fake? That doesn't
I mean, people buy into Hebrew Israelism, it's fake.
It doesn't make any sense. You get what I'm saying? They wanted to get them away before they could validate it. Two,
What? Prove it? What? Bro, validate it. No one's ever validated as Hebrew. All they've done, and by the way, they did this in Haifa. That's the place where it got validated. Validated they weren't forgeries.
said it is Hebrew. That's why when they translated it...
Wait, who said that? Wait.
Before they could validate.
See, he's just straight lying now. Who translated it? Is it they? Who?
Two, they said it is Hebrew. That's why when they translated it, it translated into Hebrew words, Hebrew names, and the names of the tribes.
Bro.
Wow.
So Katazah
just tribes too?
So Katazah, you're just a liar, man. Because no one in any source said it was. In fact, San Miguel, that's why he wished he would have jumped on tonight. He talked to the professor. The professor got a hold of linguist specialists. They said it's not Phoenician, it's not Hebrew. What did they say? They said, I don't know what it is. They don't know what it is.
Well, he's going by the initial folktale.
But that's just Father Nazario.
Nazario, right.
But see, he's acting like this happened recently, like they've now done this. Because remember, he said they translated it and it named the 12 tribes. You hear that?
Right.
What's your source, Katazah, and which stones have the Hebrew tribes on them? Because there's 800, and guess what? They've all got little tags telling you they got little names and numbers, these stones.
Because it's one thing to say we found similar characters. He's going beyond that. He's saying that we have the actual names of the 10 tribes.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a huge claim to be making.
Yeah, it's just lying, man. It's just like, how can you just get on your show and just lie to people like this? You know, like it's not right, man.
Wrong!
Oh.
So for it to be any other language would be asinine. You understand?
What? What? Why? What? It's not Hebrew. What do you mean? Why would it be? What?
Outside of that, right? When you take a look at these actual writings, they did find them in caves, and not only on this island, but they matched writings that were found also in Cuba and Hispaniola.
Bro, he's just lying and telling a story.
Didn't they say that they've never found anything quite like that anywhere else? That's what the article says?
Multiple experts said that exact thing. So you know what these guys do when they don't want to cite their source, which because they ain't got no source or it's some random Israelite, they'll say, you haven't done the research. That's that old variation of the do your research.
Do your research, right.
It's like, well, you said you did the research. Part of that is you cite your source. What's your source, man? Who translated it? Give us the name. Show us the picture. Let someone else who knows Hebrew translate it. We know no one at ISUPK can do it because no one there reads Hebrew, but give it to somebody who can. Show it to us. What are you talking about? And what are the other stones? Show the picture of these other stones that match in Cuba and Hispaniola. Show us. Liars.
Yeah, go artifact by artifact.
Just like you said you wanted to. Go artifact for artifact. You know what? They go art of fraud for art of fraud.
Didn't dig deep enough inside the report. So these were not only consistent with the other islands and their migration.
Looks like we've got a troll. Unless you am that prophet, and get ready, a draft is coming in USA. Okay, maybe a draft is coming. That doesn't prove these stones are Hebrew, bro. And I don't care if you're a prophet or not, you still got to prove it to us. But thanks for your contribution.
Where other Taínos were, but with them, and the whole point was they were being passed down from cacique to cacique. This woman was not a random woman. She was a direct descendant of the last cacique that was ruling the island.
What?
Is that in any of the articles, Vocab? What you just said? She's the last of the Mohicans? Like,
the last of the Ricans. Bro, these dudes be telling each other legends. These dudes be telling each other legends, bro. And then they get on the radio and tell everybody else.
When the Spanish came, and that's why these were in here, because this was something that the chiefs had. You understand? This was
somebody important came in. You see that?
Something that the chiefs had and the chiefs utilized that not every single person would have even had access to. But because she was related, this is why they went to her. And then
all right. So utilize for what? Utilize for what? Why would a Hebrew need these particular cones? Where's that in Torah?
Bros be just lying. Lying like a rug. Bro, come on, man. He's telling whole fibs. What's your source, ISUPK? Because the rest of the Hebrew Israelites need this. Dinu said the second in command to the second in command just walked through. That's why a dude jumped up real quick.
The last of the caciques.
Worries either way.
the Nazario came and found them. So you need to do your research.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the story.
Get in with it.
Uh-huh. How about you need to share your research? You know, how about that?
Exactly what I said. That Father Nazario got it from a woman who was a Taíno woman. But that's just what I'm saying is this is the story that Father Nazario told, that he got from the woman. So Father Nazario is telling somebody, now this is a secondhand story, is what I'm saying. That's fine. Let's say it is true. Okay. Either way, if we look at the report, it doesn't say that it's Hebrew. It's dated to around the 14th century. That's what it's dated to. Also.
Yeah,
so,
I think you have an outdated article because once again, you go look it up. You will find modern day 800 Hebrew stones authenticated. Do you know what the word authenticated means?
Yeah, it's authenticated as being it's not a hoax.
Oh, meaning that it's legitimate. You understand? So these are
right.
Man, these dudes. By the way, cacique is Spanish for a local leader of essentially an indigenous group in Spanish America. He's just adding whole elements, though. Bro, what's your updated article then? Notice that San Miguel even mentioned some specific articles, right? What's your article? He said, I don't know if you have the Wikipedia article. What's your article, Kataza? What's the updated article that says it's Hebrew and we've got some of it translated and we know all the stuff that she was related to the king? And then where is all this, bro? Come on, man. Because you know the earliest source for this is Father Nazario. And if he doesn't have that in his account as far as who she's related to and all that, where are you getting it from?
Historical value to it.
You understand? And that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
It has historical
that
value
they have
to it.
fought and they have valued it.
But if we read the actual articles that cover the stones, it doesn't say that this was brought by any 10 tribes of Israel. It actually denies that. And it doesn't say that it's Hebrew either. And I don't know where are the caves.
You were not paying attention to anything that I said at all.
BK, you should do a video on this, BK. I'm telling you. There's a lot here, man.
Because I didn't say anything about a cave inside of Puerto Rico. I
Actually, he
said
did
that
say
they
cave.
found
Yeah, I don't know why he's pulling this.
identical inscriptions all throughout the islands of the Caribbean.
Bro, you should have just went with
Wow.
what Sam Miguel said, because that's a much more easy to defend claim versus this nonsense that is not backed up anywhere.
Well,
First of all, it's
first
not
he started
Hebrew.
with Cuba, right? First he said it was Cuba. Now he's saying it's throughout the Caribbean now.
Yeah, that's a lot of islands, right?
Yeah.
I bet what he's in his head, if I had to guess what he's in his head, he's doing this. You know, the other artifacts that we've also discovered in these other places that also have Hebrew on them. I think that's what he's doing in his head. Not that you would find an
No,
article.
because he is self-referencing back to those specific stones, and he's saying that. Well, no, I guess you have a point there because he's saying that there might be other. Yeah, he might be.
I'm trying to be
thinking that way.
charitable to this
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm just viewing him as a liar and a storyteller. And maybe in his head he's thinking, well, the other examples of, but to put it in real terms, the other examples of pseudo archaeology where there's Hebrew on some of the other islands, because clearly it's not markings like these, because no one knows what these particular markings are. They have not been deciphered. What is he talking about? Look,
You didn't hear him, vocab? They are the names of the 10 tribes. What are you talking about?
Clearly, I was not listening to anything that he said.
There you go.
BK, where did they find these? Who said anything about a cave?
Throughout all the caciques throughout the Caribbean. There's a network of caciques, and he knows where all the stones are located somehow.
There was no place these weren't. Okay?
Basically.
All the caciques had them.
From Cuba to Hispaniola that were identical to these stones that
Lie.
they found on Puerto Rico.
Lie.
Which is how I know you're not listening to anything that I'm saying.
That's how I know you're a
understand?
liar.
Because that's why you're saying
Sorry
we're
with this
no,
form of writing.
no,
because
no.
what I said was
what
that
I
there was
actually
nothing
said,
else.
what I actually said.
I heard that part about Cuba and Hispaniola. What I'm talking about is in Puerto Rico. We're talking about Puerto Rico, right? Was there anything else found where there was Hebrew that can say, okay, here's more context? We have the stones and we have Hebrew somewhere else in Puerto Rico, or do we just have the stones?
How about their spoken language that was identified as a form of
Again, he did not answer and he said, how about their spoken language? Now, if he's going to say that their spoken language is the same thing on the stones, then why would people not know what they are?
Hebrew from a what do they like to call them?
Hold on.
Their spoken language.
He's saying that the indigenous peoples of PR were speaking a form of Hebrew. Is that what he just said? That's what he just said.
That was identified as a form of Hebrew from a what do they like to call them? God damn, man, what's that type of source, man?
Reliable.
Nah, not a reliable source, man. Damn, I can't recall it offhand.
I'm pretty sure he's trying to say primary source. That's what he's trying to say.
However, they said that they were speaking Hebrew on that island. They carried an ark with them, went to war, that if you go to the museums on Puerto Rico, you will literally see the Spaniards and Taínos going to war, and one of their contemporaries painting it with an ark that resembles the Ark of the Covenant being carried with them. Now, I'm not saying they have the ark.
Are you with me, BK? Did you just hear him say that Taíno paintings show that they were painting the Ark of the Covenant in their paintings when they went to war? Now, I'm not saying they had the Ark, but how would they know what that is? So meanwhile, they've got these figurines that are pagan, basically, and yet the Ark. Prince Malak, why are you asking for Dinu for a date in the chat? This is a little odd, man. Dinu, if you want to time him out, you can. Or maybe you want to say yes. I'm just teasing.
But where would they get that tradition from? Where are they getting all these narratives from? So they have...
Show us the picture. Prove it.
Hebrew stones. They're keeping Hebrew tradition. They're speaking Hebrew.
Wrong.
False. This guy is a liar and a storyteller.
Sir, wrong.
Speaking Hebrew, but no, we just got to throw out, these can't be them. That's the
I
problem.
don't think they had Hebrew traditions. They were worshiping corn. They had many different gods.
Okay.
He's making a good point. Well, yeah, it was like pagan worship. It was like animism. What are you talking about, bro?
So Israel never worshipped idols.
Okay, but so do other nations.
So Israel never worshipped idols.
But other nations also worship idols.
Why did
Good point.
Israel go into
You can't prove they're Israelites by the fact that they had pagan worship, bro.
captivity?
For worshiping other gods.
Okay, thank you. So your argument's completely invalid.
But don't other nations worship idols too?
This is what they always try to do.
This guy, man, this is pretty trippy. I appreciate the work that San Miguel's done on this, though. I really do. I hope you guys do too.
Language as such.
When you take a look at these actual writings, they did find them in caves, and not only on this island, but they matched writings that were found also in Cuba and Hispaniola.
He should be ashamed of himself, because when my man San Miguel mentioned the cave, he's like, when did I say cave? I didn't say cave. This shows me you didn't listen to anything I said, because I didn't say cave. Well, you just said cave there. Come on, man. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this, man? Why are you doing this, man? Why are you doing this, man? Why are you doing this, bro?
Gave him the keys to the city. Rodriguez said the existence of the stones broadens the island's sense of history. The stones question the meta-narrative that Columbus brought writing and history with him. That's why they call everything before him prehistory, he said. That type of thinking separates us from hundreds and thousands of years of our own history. It's not the same to tell a people you have 500 years of history as to tell them your history goes back 6,000 years.
So the best thing to do with these cats is always challenge them on what they say is true. Because these cats will say that they're scholars and they're studied, but when you actually look into what they're talking about, it's false.
That's what you titled the video?
Yeah.
That is funny as hell, yo.
I figured it was necessary.
Brother Polite, judgment for coming against ISRBK cap.
Okay, so check this out. I see we've got a poll going on. And in the poll, I asked everyone, are Puerto Ricans descendants of Israelites? And 72% say no, but some say yes, including... Where'd he go? I just saw him. Only the elect. Only the elect. So only the elect, would you like to come on and explain why you think that? You could tell us why that is. Here, do you think PRs equal Israelites? Come in the room. Okay, so this is for you. Only the elect, for example. And anyone else who thinks that. Okay, so there. I just sent you the link to come in. It'd be great if you would. I would get you on and we could have a discussion about that. So what are you guys thinking? It looks like BK is busy doing something, because I heard from him in a little bit. But he's also made a short of this situation. My man, San Miguel has. And so I'll play that real quick since we're showing a few things, because he's probably done the most work of anyone I know debunking this, and I appreciate that.
Saying that it's actually not Hebrew.
When that joint was directly translated, it had the names of the 10 lost tribes on it in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? As well as a handful of other references, you know what I'm saying, back to lands inside of Israel. I don't know what more you want.
Is there an epigrapher that you can reference? Because the most recent guy, Christian Rolston, he's saying it's not Hebrew. So, you know, and even the guy that's studying now, Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, who you said they did an interview with, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he's saying it's not Hebrew either.
Based on his expertise, he could not say that the stones were, presented Hebrew writing. As far as we know, it's only present in Puerto Rico. We have not seen any analogous writing system anywhere else.
Rat bastard!
The last two things the professor said are absolutely smashing to what Katazat tried to prove. This is the main researcher associated with this. I want to play these two more times. Listen carefully to what he said two more times versus what you just heard. What you just heard Katazat say in this discussion with San Miguel. Watch.
And now Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, who you said they did an interview with, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that he's saying it's not Hebrew either.
Based on his expertise, he could not say that the stones were, presented Hebrew writing. As far as we know, is only present in Puerto Rico. We have not seen any analogous writing system anywhere else.
Rat
You guys
bastard.
hear that? You guys hear that? So that's very, very important. Very, very important. BK, I can't hear you, so would you be able to drop out and then come back in? Maybe that'll work. If you could drop out and then come back in. Because I don't know why I couldn't hear you, because, I had no trouble hearing you before. So sorry about that. I don't know what the deal is.
Who are you? You gotta understand. Yo, listen.
I didn't realize. Sorry, I'm going to have to edit that out. I didn't realize that. It's saying it's having trouble starting the interview session. I don't know why, BK. It's saying there's some problem. Error starting interview session. It's not letting you come in. There's an error in my program. I've never had this happen before. But I apologize. I don't know what the issue is. My goodness. Yeah, I'm hitting the button and it won't let it. I don't know, man. I'm so sorry. Man, that makes me wonder if anybody can come in. Okay, well, I'm going to play a little bit of this in a second. I'm just letting it get past the part that this part right here is not actually relevant. Let me just fix this, and then we'll play a little bit of this as well, because this is another video by San Miguel on this subject that's good as well. And so let me just do this. And by the way, one other thing I want to show you guys is if you go to the IUIC Puerto Rico channel, Puerto Rico channel, they actually have this where they did like an interview with him. This is only from 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. And let me play this, turn this volume up here. Just a second. Bada boom, bada bing.
Turning Padre Nazario.
Okay. I want to know if there's like a reference, how I can read about how this has been authenticated as Hebrew.
I mean, offhand, I can't directly. Here's what you could do, right? Email Cross the Line Radio, and then I could send you some information on it. I got some articles that I've saved up, as well as there's a brother, I think his name is Yawasab, who did a direct interview with the brother. He traveled over to Puerto Rico. You'll be able to check that out. I think he did a whole documentary too.
The type of writing that is.
So hear what he said,
here.
but then watch San Miguel actually shows the professor. I'm going to show that in just a second. But first I want to show you ISUPK is not the only camp. In fact, the reason why I got into this is because IUIC Puerto Rico has been promoting it lately again. So here's the IUIC Puerto Rico channel. You see this? And they've been pushing this because look at the most recent video here from 2 weeks ago. Look at that. Confirmed they've been authenticated, the Nazario stones. So these two guys went in there and talked to him. See? It's all in Spanish, of course. See? All right, so these guys went in and talked to him.
That is presented here. He thinks it's not Hebrew, it's not Phoenician. Based on his expertise, he could not say that the stones were, presented Hebrew writing.
I'll reach out, even see, you know what I'm saying, what he's doing with the documentary. I'll send you all the information on it. So just hit Cross the Line Radio, and then I'll be able to send you over some things. You know what I'm saying? This way I don't got to, dig it up right now and then do the whole breakdown, and it takes up half the show. So I'll send you some stuff.
Right.
No, all you'd have to do is just give a link. You don't have to do a whole breakdown. He's just asking for the source. You don't have anything for us. And yet he shows where the professor says it's not Hebrew and it ain't anywhere else. Exactly the opposite of what you said. These guys are just bluffers, man. They're full of it. It's time to pull up the skirts of One Westism. You know what I mean? It's time to say, if you want to use a more or less crass metaphor, it's time to say the emperor has no clothes.
I was trying to contact that Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos. He's at that University of Utuado out there. Because according to the most recent research on this, they're saying that it's actually not Hebrew.
I mean, listen, I hear you, but when that joint was directly translated,
what? I mean, I hear you, but when that joint was directly translated, who? Bro, you can't just lie. What are you talking about? And that's why San Miguel puts on the screen, translated by who? You can't just say that because it's not true.
it had the names of the 10 lost tribes on it in Hebrew.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? As well as a handful of other references, you know what I'm saying, back to lands inside of Israel.
No.
So
liar.
I don't know what more you want.
A source would be nice, kind of like the initial thing he was asking for. We don't take UPK's word for anything. You're not known to be truth tellers, man. All right, let me see, BK, if you can be heard here. My bad. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yo.
There you go. Okay, my bad, bro. So you've been hearing some of these clips because now he's getting into the straight killer clips, bro.
Well, I mean, what's interesting, every time he retells stuff, there was a cave in Puerto Rico. Then it was, oh, well, there's a cave also in Hispaniola and Cuba. Then it's exact replicas of these things throughout the Caribbean. Then he says, well, it matches the actual language. So now there's language involved.
You're saying it's a fish story?
Just letters. He's saying that it was the 10 tribes. Then when he comes back, not only is it 10 tribes, but also has the names of towns in Israel as well.
Fish
story.
He
just keeps adding. It's
fish
crazy.
story. Fish story, man. This is a fish story, 100%. One West fish story.
All I want is a professional reference, any reference to what this guy's talking about. And you can see that he's getting defensive already.
Well, I mean, is there an epigrapher that you can reference? Because the most recent guy, Christian Rolston, he's saying it's not Hebrew. So, you know, and even the guy that's studying now, Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos, who you said they did an interview with, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he's saying it's not Hebrew either.
Okay, that's
Got
fine.
him.
He's not a Hebrew scholar either.
Well, the first guy is a Hebrew scholar. And who's the Hebrew scholar that you're citing, if you're going to put it that? Because no one at One West speaks Hebrew. Man, I'm getting so frustrated with the lies, man. If you're Puerto Rican,
he also said, right, to go to the professor. Like, Joanna Sapp did an interview, but now he's like, well, he's not a Hebrew scholar. So all of a sudden you discredit him now?
Bro, it's too much, man. This stuff is like, it's hard, man, dealing with liars, man. You know?
So peep how he's trying to discredit the man actually studying these things, who's Dr. Reniel Rodriguez Ramos. Regardless, I had just previously mentioned Christopher A. Ralston, who is a Hebrew scholar.
He's not a Hebrew scholar either, but like I said, I told you I'll send you some information. So if you want to send me your email, then I could send you some information.
Okay. No, I'm saying because I know you said you did thorough research on it. So, I mean, the people that are actually dealing with this are saying the opposite.
I just told you that I did do thorough research on it. And as a result, I even said that I was willing to share with you the research I did on it directly.
See, I'm just trying to get...
It's a big IOU, man. And we already know he ain't come through. This is the I'll pay you tomorrow kind of guy. I'll pay you tomorrow. I got you tomorrow. That's this guy.
These guys to acknowledge the actual people doing the research and what they have to say. Why would anybody care about what this guy has to say about the Padre Nazario stones. He's never looked at them. He has no expertise in these things. So it doesn't matter what he has to say. We have to go to the people that are actually researching these things, that have looked at these things using forensic studies, epigraphy.
You know what I'm saying? But it sounds like what it really sounds like is you want to be a contentious asshole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The problem is you. How dare you ask for a source? You're the problem, man. You want to be contentious. That's the problem, man. Notice, I can't prove my case. I'll insult the person and say that's the issue. This is literally ad hominem. You hear this, BK?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's feigning offense all of a sudden. So
Yeah, you know.
Like, and you're starting to jog my memory as to who this is. Like, you're the same cat who calls up every.
Well, that's cool. You remember San Miguel, but you can't remember any of the resources or the sources. You know,
3 weeks about Ezra's and whatnot, because you just want to deny the Northern Kingdom. And if that's the case, that's fine. And even for argument's sake, right? Like hypothetical. Let's say the stones are in Hebrew. Let's say they were a forgery. There's still countless amounts of other artifacts. You get what I'm saying?
These guys with that. Well, okay, what about this other one? And you go, it's like they always do. Everything is an IOU, you know? Well, I don't have the money here. Where is it? It's my mom's house. Oh, okay.
Saying so, it's like even if I played your game and decided to just remove this artifact, it still wouldn't even negate the amount of references that you have. You know what? Hold on, let me see.
But we're
now you're gonna find sources.
Now
he's about to find sources, huh?
Didn't he say he was gonna go artifact for artifact?
Yeah.
So he can't go with this one, so you gotta go for others. Like
I'll go artifact for artifact, except for the one we're discussing.
In front of me, because I actually might have some of this here. Hold on. Might have it right on here. Bear with me. Let me see something.
I mean, if it's not Hebrew, I'm saying you guys are calling yourselves, you know, leaders of the Lord, and now you're referencing something that's false. So that would be very important.
Yeah, no, it actually wouldn't.
That doesn't make any sense, because if you want to admit that you got this wrong, it would be important for you to address it, because this is the ISUPK, which claims to be the home of the truth.
So we have the 100% unadulterated truth. Right. Period.
And they claim to have 100% unadulterated truth. So now we're finding out that what you're claiming to be Hebrew is actually not. So why would that not be important? That doesn't make any sense.
Because the information that I have is directing it towards.
You're saying this is
here's what really happens, right? I'm going to tell you what has to happen. See, you just disagree. So you need to try to find some hypocrisy within us, because you probably see us and you're probably like, damn, these cats go hard. They've been around since 1969. And you look at us and you look at yourself and you measure yourself and you constantly come up lacking. So as a result, you need to find a way so that this way you can disprove us, so that you can feel like a man, so that you can feel like you know something, and it just never happens. You get what I'm saying?
So if you dealt with Hebrew...
he can't answer, so now he's concocting this whole clutching my pearls, feigning offense, and I'm gonna just start a fight with you now. You know?
See, here's the problem. I've done a thorough psychoanalysis upon you, even, you know, and see, here's the problem is you're not a man, and you see that we're all men, and so what?
Because you're a hater, basically.
Man, Katazar, grow up and stop lying. Evidence is at my mom's house, D-New says, but my mom called last week, told me she moved her house to Mars. Now I can't get the evidence till next month, because that's when the next spacecraft leaves.
Did I say Mars? No, but that's the 616 universe Mars. Yeah. It's now at the 686 universe.
If you want to be a contentious asshole, I'm going to move on to other callers. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course. And then here's what we can do.
I wanted to gain expertise from people that didn't have any involvement in terms of whether they thought about whatever they thought about Columbus or any religious involvement, thinking about the lost tribes or whatever. And eventually, I brought in somebody that looked at the inscriptions, and I selected this epigrapher, who are the people that study ancient inscriptions. I wanted to work with this epigrapher because he's an expert detecting forgeries of ancient writing, and also because he's an expert. He knows how to read ancient Hebrew, he knows how to read Phoenician, he knows how to read.
You've got to be wrong, Professor, because the man in glasses in New York with the red beard told me he doesn't know how to read Hebrew. So who am I supposed to trust? You?
But notice how he's already apprehensive with those kind of claims. Because he says, yeah, I want somebody who doesn't have a bias, who thinks that it's the lost tribes. So he's already aware that this argumentation exists. So he's actually trying to avoid that. So he's aware of people doing this kind of stuff with artifacts, and he doesn't want no parts of it.
This is wild, man. By the way, okay, if everyone's kind of lost, if people come in at different times, we're talking about a cache of 800 stones that were found in Puerto Rico in the 1880s. Modern research has confirmed they go back 600 years or so, pre-Columbian, therefore. They're figurines and they have writing. There's evidence that some may be painted, things like that. We don't know what they were used for, and no one knows what the writing or marks are. No one knows. Researcher after researcher, it's not Hebrew, but no one knows what it is. This is the main professor involved with the research. He's talking about he's got other experts involved, and they've confirmed it's not Hebrew. But yet, UPK is acting like this about it, and they're not the only ones, because the whole reason this jumped back on my radar was because of IUIC.
Many of the languages that could be either attributed directly or indirectly to people that might be related to lost tribes of Israel, for instance. Right. So what the epigrapher concluded, his name is Chris Ralston from George Washington University. He looked at the stones. He spent a week with me here in Puerto Rico looking at the collection in detail. And he said first that the inscriptions that you see in the stones are ancient, that the inscriptions seem to denote a form of annotation system.
And by the way, this is very similar to what they said at the University of Haifa. So you have different scholars with different expertise in different fields from different universities with different ethnic backgrounds, if that matters, who are confirming those key elements. They're not confirming the stuff UPK is saying, though, for example, that it's Hebrew or something Semitic.
But again, he's aware of that argument. He's aware that people are trying to make this correlation. So he's very much aware of that.
And this is how you do proper research.
But that the type of writing that is presented here, he thinks is not Hebrew, it's not Phoenician. He thinks it's an ancient type of writing that developed locally because of the indigenous people engaged in contact with other people that had an...
By the way, that puts to the lie where Catazá said, they found these in Hispaniola. They found these on Cuba. Nope. Localized. This is a theory because why would it be that? Because it ain't look like nothing else.
Established writing system. That the writing system these stones have is unknown at present. Which culture or cultures engaged with the indigenous people in the island, we still don't know. That's a question we still need to figure out. But he was very straight in his argument. That he, based on his expertise, he could not say that the stones were, presented Hebrew writing. He said that there are some symbols, as you can see here, that seem similar to Hebrew signs, Yeah. But here, he thinks this is completely different. So we are now trying to figure out which culture or cultures were the ones that might have engaged with the indigenous peoples from the island that led to the development of this system of annotation. So it is like based on the dates that we have, this seems to be like the oldest system, or one of the oldest, together with the Olmec systems of annotations in the Americas. And so it again shows that the indigenous people of the island and in the Caribbean in general were much more advanced, as my colleague Roberto Perez says.
And that's the cool thing about these findings, is it's like, oh, looks like there was some system of writing or communication, annotation. Still got a lot to learn, but that's the cool thing about it. You know,
And again, he's
pre-Columbian.
very clear. He's very clear that it's not Hebrew. That he really goes out of his way. He prefaced his conversation with, "I needed an expert who doesn't have a bias towards this lost tribe theory." Like, he's very much aware, and he went out of his way to find an expert that is not biased. And he says that throughout his conversation. It's not Hebrew. It's not, like, I don't know how many times he said it, a bunch of times in this little snippet. So
yeah, and this is the professor. So who's Katazar relying on? You know,
scientifically, than what we have traditionally attributed to them. That there was a deeper knowledge about the space that they were inhabiting, about the celestial space, you know, about nature, and perhaps other sorts of knowledge that we don't have any clue about them, you know. And so for me, you know, like when you look at this this system is really complex because it has the markings, but then it has these lines in angles, which might have something to do with mathematical coding or be more conclusive in my perspective. But at this point, you know, I am just trying to figure out, I think that many of these, I am still working on trying to establish what sort of system is represented, what type of information was being codified in these artifacts. This is not decoration. Register lines. So this is what provided orientation to the signs and possibly meaning to the signs. You know, so there was information being coded on this. Well, the epigrapher, who was the person that analyzed the images, the writing on the stones, he said that that this writing developed because there was some contact of the indigenous people of Puerto Rico with other people.
Shout out to the people keeping this channel thriving and strong. Multiple people tonight, but specifically must give a shout out to Larry Love, representing from Cincinnati. How you doing, brother Larry Love? And also Jesus is King 333. Thank you very much, and to everyone else as well. So this is the researcher who's primarily dealing with this, and that's why he's being interviewed on this. But they won't play this on the UPK, not UIC, and if they do, they won't interpret it right. But here's what he really says. I mean, this seals the deal, you know, but I want you guys to hear this because Miguel's done a lot of good work getting these interviews together.
That had an already established writing system, and that the people from Puerto Rico, after getting in contact with that writing system, developed locally their own writing system. You see? So I am not, you know, at this point, I consider that the stones were made in Puerto Rico, were very likely made by the indigenous people of Puerto Rico, but that they resulted from the contact with people from other area from where that served as the impetus. The process, the epigrapher said, is called stimulus diffusion. So the contact with these other people stimulated the local development of a writing system. And it's, as far as we know, is only present in Puerto Rico. We have not seen any analogous writing system anywhere else.
You hear that, BK?
Yep.
So, I mean, where do you think Kata? I mean, it's kind of like
he literally just made up an entire story out of thin air. And he kept adding to it every time he came back around to tell the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He inserted language and everything. It's like no one was talking about language in the articles. He's like, oh, it's the same language. Yeah, and the 10 tribes and names of cities from Israel. I'm like, wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
It's a One West fish story, man. One West fish story. So everyone, what are you guys thinking of this? You know, we've went probably longer than I thought, but do you guys want me to play one more video, or should I save that for another time, maybe when San Miguel can join us? Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah. Final words, my man, BK Apologist. If you got any final words you want to say, thanks for joining us.
In the immortal words of CASHAPP, do your research. Because when you do, you can refute them. So yes, please, by all means, do your research.
Hey, man, that's exactly right. Okay, listen, guys. Tomorrow, the plan that I have is to go live and probably do a smoke room. I'm working on a plan. I don't know if I'm able to pull it off, but where I do smoke rooms every Sunday night. Will that happen? Don't know, but it's an intention. I want to see if it works, number one. And then on Monday, I'm going to be interviewing God Logic. That's Avery. He's a lot on Clubhouse. Really popular, really great guy. And we're going to talk about how Osama bin Laden has went viral on TikTok. I don't know if you've heard the story, but you got 2 days to research it. And when I say viral, I mean like people reading his letter like it's a good thing. And we're going to talk about that and read from this letter and show you some clips. And it's pretty wild stuff. Talk about that. BK, tell people where to find you and your material, please.
You can find me on these YouTube streets. You can just search BK space apologist. And and I'm always, putting up new content. This Monday, I'll be doing a UA book review on a classic conscious community book, The ISIS Papers by Francis Crane Wilson. And we're going to look at a particular chapter that I think you guys are going to find very interesting. Her take on the origin of what the symbol of the cross really is. And we're going to see what that definition she has. So.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Yeah. All right, brother. Well, thanks for joining us, man. Thank you very much.
Sir.
I appreciate it. God bless. Talk to you later, man.
Peace.
Well, you guys have been good today. We've went really long, but just because you guys are good people, let's do this. Hey, yo, turn up the track. Vocab, back with a rap attack. Got the beef like a Big Mac, but no cheese. 'Cause I ain't making much money or cheddar, but I rhyme, try to get better. Hot like a Freddy Krueger sweater in the middle of the summer. Driving in a Hummer, that's a lie, bummer. Now I'm like Carrie, looking dumber and dumber. I wonder how I'll keep from going under. Bringing the lightning, bringing the thunder. Yes, y'all clean the room like a rumba. Yes, y'all, I'm straight from the jungle. Here we go now, just like my hunger. Who's that? Y'all don't know. I wonder, like I said before, when I come through the door, spit an ill metaphor with the 1, 2, 4. Left out the 3, that's for the Trinity. Well, it's V to the O to the C, A, B. Well, that's spelling like the Jackson 5. Yes, y'all, now I'm all the way live. Now I'm drinking some water while I'm taking a drive, and I get so deep, I scuba dive. I've arrived upon the scene. I don't curse, it's not obscene. I mean, yeah, the style is clean. It's been through the ringer like a washing machine. Yes, y'all, now I bring the heat like a dryer with the ill pipe. A beat from the street every day of the week. Now I'm moving in traffic, so you hear the beep, beep, beep. But it's not from the curse. Vocab alone, I kick a universe when you and I verse like common sense. I disperse, that's what I meant. The style is fresher than a new breath mint. I speak the Old Testament. I represent it, then I sleep a bit, then I come back and I rest a bit. What's the rest of it? I got the biscuit burner, vocab alone, disciple a learner, take you on a journey, let's go together. Style we flip it, changing like the weather, whatever, clever. To the cousin, I know some of y'all kinda bugging, but keep this, I'm like McLovin. Just kidding, that's a fake ID. Now I'm shoving the gospel. Yes, y'all, don't get hostile. Yes, y'all, raised Pentecostal. Now I'm Calvinist. Now I gotta rock slow like Roxwell. I can tell I'm not Chino, but I excel. I prevail like a speaking spell. Got rhymes, now I excel like LL Cool J on a Saturday. Tomorrow Sunday, hit the highway in my Hyundai, so I go to church. Yes, y'all, buy my merch at vocabalone.com. It's the bomb like Iran, Iraq. I run from here to Japan. Kick style like a kung fu flick. Yes, y'all, it's authentic. Where's the mic? You know, I gotta grip it. Skip the skill that's exquisite. Flip up and down like I was a lizard. When I'm losing the tail, now where is it? Got the magic style, you can say I'm wizard. Yes, indeed, now I flip it like flapjacks on a griddle stack. Yes, y'all, you're taking a nap, but wake up, it's the cause of the death. Check it, the beat so fresh. Tax you like the IRS. Here we go, now it's time to flex. I see the time, but no Rolex. What we gonna do? We hit my checks. Oh, that's it. Soko on the beat. Let's do one more. Soko break the heat, man, when he sent those new ones. Didn't he? He's real dope. Yo, beat is back with the Brooklyn rap. Put Phoenix on the map. Where you at? Late night, the late night stream. Yes, y'all know what I mean. Kick this for the senior citizens, plus the kids and plus the teens. Whatever age, I rhyme without a page. Bucking up, yeah, like it was a 12 gauge. Upon the stage, I flip this, rip this. Here we come again, now we in this. We got a witness like it was Jehovah. Yes, y'all, I'm coming over. A Red Rover when I'm breaking the arms. I break down the witches and I break their charms. Now I got the firearms and the fire water. I have it in my palm, cause it's the word of life. It's the word of God, so don't be trife, alright? It was written long time ago, now I'm spitting. These are written that make you unalive, that bring forth the dead. Now I thrive like thriving frequency. I got the dope beat, now y'all can see it's sequencing like a MIDI style. Yes, yes, y'all, since a bitty child, like the hip hop when I walk on my block. Got the headphones on so you know when I rock. Freedom in the soul and SFC, the PID, Steve Wiley, and D2, and JC and the boys. It's an old school CHH with the noise now. To the modern day with the cray, maybe Andy Mineo speaking of the way, cause we coming in hot. We like it a dot. We rockin' the block with the doctor for the block. Check this, you're dope, not. Hey yo, breakfast, I throw you a rope. Eating breakfast, lunch, peep this, no Captain Crunch. Why is that? Minute, hurts the roof of my mouth. I rip these rhymes from the north to the south, from the west to east. Got the juvenile beat, rocking on the mic, so complete upon a concrete. When we rock with a beat, when we see Satan meet defeat, we beat him raw like Rocky's meat inside the freezer. Now I'm discreet when I'm underground at the thunderous pound with the thunder sound. Now are you down? Hey, yo, if that's the case, give me a pound. Peep this now, round and round like Tevin Campbell. The rhyme's the anvil. Peep this, you trash like a landfill. I got the bullhorn. Yes, yes, y'all. The style's more than warm. The style's getting hot. The style's forlorn. Like Fortnite, I perform on a live stream, a YouTube channel. The rhyme is hot like I'm wearing flannel. Phoenix, Arizona, not Seattle. Whack demons, always want to battle. But I got the flavor like a pack of Skittles, so I tell them to skedaddle. Peep this, I got the rattle like a diamondback with the rhyming raps on top of the track like a rail, choo-choo the train. Whack MCs, y'all kinda lame. The reason why you're lame, you don't recognize the name. Now I disappear like a David Blaine. Oh! See you tomorrow. God bless. Peace out.